Hey guys, back with a new video for last Epoch. So today is going to be the second build diary kind of video for my sorcerer playing a sort of mana stacking spark charge build. And this time around we actually fully converted over to the damage taken from mana for health setup. Got some endurance, got the endurance threshold, and got everything working. And actually the build is working out pretty nice right now. The last video it was a little bit sketchy because I didn't really have a lot of defense, mainly from the damage taken from mana for health, and I didn't even have any endurance or endurance threshold, so it was a little bit squishy and damage wasn't really all that great. I mean, it was still okay, but not like the best, right? But now I fixed up some things in the build, gotten some better items, and now damage and defense are both pretty insane. So we're going to run a quick Monolith, do some bosses so you guys can see the build in action, and then we'll go over the changes. I'm not really at the point where I want to make a full build guide yet. I think there's still some things I want to test out and that kind of stuff before I actually put out the build guide, but we'll go over some of the changes and stuff like that. Alright, so we're at about 140-ish corruption, nothing too high, but we'll just kind of go through it, and the main thing is, like, now it's like the build feels like it's able to start pushing up to the harder corruptions. The bosses aren't really any kind of problem. You can basically you can sort of face tank the bosses pretty much. You know, like the harbingers, the new bosses, the monolith bosses. You know, everything is pretty much easy now. Before I actually made the swap over to the actual gear, there were some sketchy things. Like some bosses were like a little bit annoying because you had to like dodge a lot and that kind of stuff. Now, since we do have a lot of defense, we can sort of take quite a few hits, make a lot of mistakes, and still be fine. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Got some... Oh, I have already a level 3 one, so let's just run this. Use Arcane Ascendance. That's the poison guy, and this guy's going to be dead like pretty soon because, you know, the damage on this build right now is like actually pretty insane. Alright, so you see I'm using Arcane Ascendance, and this is sort of a personal preference flex slot. You can kind of add whatever you want here. Up till now I was using like Flame Rush, not Flame Rush, Flame Ward. That's pretty nice. You do Flame Ward, and you know, Arcane Ascendance, very nice for just like tons of damage because you get a lot of more damage inside Arcane Ascendance, and then you also get extra Lightning Blast procs. And the nice thing is they come out as soon as you pop Arcane Ascendance. You're going to shoot out the lightning bolts, so you get a lot of like instant damage, right? And these Wingari Patriarch guys are really tanky for some reason. They're like even tankier than the Harbingers. Alright. So, oh, that was the map boss. Alright, so that's kind of Monolith, and one thing I was doing to actually make the clear a little bit better, I mean, the clear is pretty good, but on Lightning Blast, basically if you unspec Convergence, you get chains, right? Because Convergence makes it so the Lightning Blast only hits the same target, but if you take this point out and then you can actually get chains, the clear actually does feel quite a lot better. And funny enough, I didn't even notice a DPS loss. It's kind of funny. Like, you'd think that would be kind of a big damage loss, right? Because you know, Lightning Blast not hitting the same target, you only get one hit instead of three, so you know, getting a lot less damage, but I couldn't even tell the difference. So I might actually just, you know, permanently get rid of this convergence node and just have chains, because chains are pretty awesome in Monolith Clear. Alright, so that was Monolith. Let's go do the map boss. You know, I'm trying to farm up my blessings. I have pretty much all the blessings I want, but some of them are kind of low value values, or whatever. Wait, where is this guy? Can't even hit him yet. There we go. Oh, I'm not playing with sound, so I can't really see, but you see we already got the first phase down. The ward is dead, and he's pretty much already just going to be insta-phase the whole fight. Alright, so yeah, damage pretty nice, defense is looking pretty good, and you know, these boss fights are pretty easy. Now I'm thinking about it, since these bosses are having like ward and that kind of stuff, damage over time build is probably going to be really strong because, you know, you're going to have your dots up like the full time. So whenever his ward pops up and if you can't attack him, your dots are like doing damage, that kind of stuff. But anyways, yeah, boss down, pretty easy. Do we get, oh, did we get something good? Oh no, it's even worse. All right, well, let's just get this. Not really even sure how this blessing swap thing works. I'll have to test it out later. But yeah, so that's the boss. Let's go do the Shade of Orbis. And yeah, I don't really have a Harbinger ready, but I guess we'll do that in the actual build guide. It'll probably come out sometime on the weekend, maybe. We'll see. But Shade's actually like even easier than the map bosses. I think they like, have like less health too, so not really problem. Just kind of stand there and whack him until he dies. Did take some damage, and actually kind of funny with this build is, oh, he's already dead. Okay, so because like we have ward now, visually it's kind of weird because, you know, when you're playing a ward build and your ward goes away, then you're kind of like instinctively kind of a little bit of panic, right? You're like, oh shit, I don't have ward. But this build is like you're way tankier when you don't have ward, right? So ward is just kind of like a temporary defense we're using to give our mana a break on the damage bit, right? So this I have like 900 health, but this 900 health is more like, I don't know, 20,000, like 15 to 20,000 health, basically, because of the damage reduction we have. We have the 60% less damage taken from endurance, and then we also have the damage dealt to mana for health. Right now I have 64%, so that's another like 64% damage reduction, and then we also do have some other things like temporary buffs, right, like lightning aegis, and then we do have the spellblade thing over here. So 10% less damage taken with Arcane Shield, so that's even more damage reduction. So this 900 HP is like, you know, 15-20k. So visually it's just kind of weird, right? You're instinctively kind of panic a little bit when you lose your ward, but you know, when you don't have your ward is when you're actually the tankiest, so it's kind of funny. Alright, so let's go into the build and stuff, what we changed. First of all, let's talk about the skills this time. So this time around, with Mana Strike, I've made some big changes, basically getting more damage, because I realized that I didn't even need that much mana sustain at the moment. Maybe this will change in the future when I go to higher corruption and I start taking more damage to my health and mana, but as it is right now, the monsters are having a hard time even getting through my ward, so I don't even really need that much mana sustain. So I've actually been able to pick up the Mana Storm node here, so I get the, what do you call it, these little arcs over here. And the nice thing about these arcs is they apply spark charges as well. So basically every hit we're applying 2 spark charges per hit, which is quite nice. We also do get a little bit of attack speed. I mean, we did lose attack speed and the rune sap node, which is quite sad. But overall, end of the day, this makes the clear way better. Like, clear without this, and this is like 9 days. So clear got better, damage got better, and mana sustain still very good. Okay, so Frostclaw. Basically, what we've done is we've had to reduce the mana cost of Frostclaw quite a bit. You see mine is only costing 6 mana. Now, if you are having mana problems, basically what you're going to have to do is just actually get rid of Mana Storm, because without this, it doesn't matter what your Frostclaw costs, because I could actually take this out. I could take this out, and I could just basically be running tons more base crit on Frostclaw. I could run this thing here, which gives you melee spell damage based on your melee damage. Now, nice thing about this is, I mean, the damage you get from enchant weapon, we have some added lightning damage that actually also counts. So when your enchant weapon is active, your Frostclaw does do quite a lot more damage, so that's quite nice. Do have some very nice idols. You can see here both 14% mana efficiency with Frostclaw and a decent roll in the armor. So yeah, we're able to reduce the mana cost with 2 perfect 14% and 3 nodes here. It goes down to a 6 mana cost. And I'm not really sure if you need exactly 14%. Maybe someone, you know, can do the calculations for that. But this is just kind of what, you know, the setup I have. And then when I only had 2 points in here, it was at 7 mana, and as soon as I put 3 points, it goes to 6, but maybe you don't even really need the, 14%, maybe a 13% will work. You'll have to test that out, I guess. Okay, enchant weapon has stayed the same. Lightning blast also the same, like I mentioned. Taking out convergence for better clear is definitely an option, and I don't even really notice the loss in damage. And in that case, the last point I would put into divergence, or maybe just get another extra chain, right? Okay, so Arcane Ascendance right now, basically what we're doing is, yeah, we're just using it for damage, right? Main thing is the superconductor, so we are automatically casting lightning blast when you hit an enemy, right? So that's pretty nice. It has a 2-second cooldown, but we reduced it here, so it's like a 1 point something second cooldown, internal cooldown. It's okay. We also do get extra or more damage per slow, which is quite nice. We also do get haste when we come out of our Arcane Ascendance, so it's quite nice. When you're Monoliths and you're attacking, you can just attack, pop Arcane Ascendance, deactivate it, and if, and as you go, you get quite a lot of haste, so that's quite nice. And the main thing here is this acuity node here. So Arcane Ascendance, normally you use it for spells, but we're not casting spells in Arcane Ascendance. We're using a melee attack to proc our spells, so the downside of the acuity node that only affects 4 spells basically doesn't do anything, right? Because we're not casting spells, so we can just keep melee attacking and get the full benefits for as long as we want, or until it runs out, basically. So that's quite nice. After that, getting some more mana efficiency while we're in Arcane Ascendance, because Arcane Ascendance does add a +5 to mana cost. So you can see my Frostclaw is costing 6 mana. If I go into Arcane Ascendance, it's now 9 mana. Now, we did reduce the cost of all of our spells by 60%, but we can't regenerate mana. But, I mean, we don't even really have that much mana regeneration, only 13, so it's not the end of the world. And that's pretty much it. Now, if you don't want to use Arcane Ascendance, because I know some people find this playstyle to be clunky, and it is something you have to get used to for sure. There's like, when you're not used to it, there's a lot of times you'll pop Arcane Ascendance and you'll be in a bad spot, and you're trying to move and you forget you're in Arcane Ascendance and you just kind of like die, and that's definitely happened to me. But the damage you get from it is definitely worth it, I think. So if you don't want to use Arcane Ascendance, then probably what you do is you spec into either Flame Ward or Teleport. Now the plus for Flame Ward is you can actually spec into a lot of damage with Infusion, and through Flames you can get haste. These very nice for clearing your monoliths. You're getting some extra damage and movement speed, and you can go up and also pick up the extra charge. Or you can go full defense and pick up these 2 nodes here, which is going to be quite nice. And I guess the plus for Teleport is that you get this cannot be stunned. So since we're not having a lot of HP or ward, you can get stunned quite a bit. So if you don't like getting stunned, spec in Teleport, and you're pretty much never going to be stunned because you have stun immunity for like the past 4 seconds, but you extend that by like 100% almost. So it's like 8 seconds of stun immunity after you teleport. So that is actually quite nice. All right, so let's go over the gear real quick. See, we've changed the gear around quite a bit. We have some decent items now. I did buy one of the seed helmets and I put it in the egg and got minion dodge rating. So kind of sad, but nice thing is these egg things that you get from the Nemesis, this is going to be one of the best ways to get 1 LP items or 2 LP items that usually do not drop with LP. Or it's actually going to be really, really cheap to make your own 2 LP or 1 LP or 3 LP items if you don't have a lot of money and you can't go and spend like 10 million gold on trade to buy a 2 LP Drago's Claw or 3 LP Fragment of the Enigma, because you could just buy a whole bunch of the 0 LP ones for very cheap and then just keep putting them in the egg until you get something with good results. So that's actually really nice, and I'll probably be buying some backup daggers and all this kind of stuff, so I can actually whenever I find the egg, I can just put one in and maybe get something nice. Okay, so we did get the helmet. Now I was a little bit worried that the endurance that gets applied to damage dealt to mana is actually getting like subtracted from your health, because it's like wasn't really all that clear on the helmet. So it's because it says like 44% of endurance applies to all damage dealt to mana, and that kind of implies that it's taken away from your life endurance for some reason. I don't know, for some weird reason I thought that, but I confirmed it with the devs. It does not do that. You still keep all of your health endurance and that kind of stuff. So that's quite nice. So the helmet working out very nice. And let's just see. So nothing really special, like except that I do have the helmet. I guess the rolls are very bad. This is like one of the cheapest ones. I was looking at the price for you know, on day 1 and day 2 quite a bit, and they were like over 1 million gold. But this one popped up for like 500k, so I just bought it. All right, so using devotion, basically just for the lightning pen. I know I could probably get a better I get a better amulet, but I'm just a little bit lazy right now, and there's no real need for me to change it at the moment. But I will probably change it over to either the strong mind that I have over here somewhere, this one here, either this or there's the new amulet that gives you +2 to all skills. And the reason I want to get plus to all skills is because, well, Mana Strike, right now, I'm only going to be able to get a +2 to Mana Strike because I do want to get Exalted damage from Mana for Health on the chest, right? So you can only have +2 to Mana Strike. That means the max level we can get on our Mana Strike is +3 right now. But if we get the amulet with the +2, that means we get 2 extra levels, which means I could put 2 more points into Essence of Control and further reduce the cost of Mana Storm, which means it'll probably be viable at higher corruption, but we're gonna have better mana recovery. Or I could put those 2 points into Rune Sap or get more attack speed, that kind of stuff, and that's gonna be real nice, right? So, and that amulet also does give % mana and that kind of stuff, so very nice amulet. I think I might end up running that because I honestly don't think this build is going to need like thousands and thousands of mana, maybe. Well, I mean, who knows, right? So it's kind of like early days, right? I'm still not sure because I haven't really played at higher corruptions yet, but once we do get to like 500 to around 700 corruption, I'll start to be able to make better adjustments like that. All right, so I did slam a very nice Dragorous Claw with the T7 attack speed and T2 armor shred, and honestly, you know, you don't really need that much armor shred as long as you're getting around 100 stacks, you know, then that's good enough. So I would have rather had, I think I had like spell crit, T5 spell crit, which would have been nice to have instead of this armor shred. But end of the day, this dagger, it's only a 2 LP, but rolled very nicely, and I'll probably just keep using this because, you know, there's no, you know, this is like perfect, right? The only thing I'm missing is a spell crit, but we can get that some other places, so not super important. I did make a new chest. It's on the wrong base, but there is no Arcane Regalias with the damage dealt to mana for health on the market that are usable. So, right, so this one I just made pretty nice, right? Like, it's got the T6 damage dealt to mana for health, we got Mana Strike, got some Void Res, which I actually do need, funny enough. I mean, not right now, but I will need it eventually when I get rid of this. And then, yeah, so has that, and then also was able to craft on the +1 Flame Ward, so I have 2 charges on Flame Ward, which is quite nice. The Fragment of the Enigma, I made this last night too, but completely missed the mark on the spell crit, basically, and crit multi. I made some new rings too. This one's missing intelligence, but other than that, very nice. Let's see here. This one I got some intelligence, but only tier 2 intelligence, so kind of sad. I'll have to make some more, but these are very rare. And I think in the end I do want to use this ring over here if I can find it. The Phantom's Grip. If I use 2 of these Phantom's Grips with like a 2 LP or 3 LP with just Endurance Threshold and Intelligence, or Endurance Threshold and Endurance, then we're going to be getting tons of base crit, which is going to help us capping our crit. And then I did make some gloves. They're okay. Would like to actually get Endurance Threshold on the gloves as well, but yeah, probably make a new pair pretty soon. And then I'll have to slam on a nice pair of boots and also get a new relic. So that's sort of the gear. Idols, I did actually make some, get some idols. I found this one here, so mana, this one also mana, and this one, these ones I bought. Right, and then these are just all mana and cold res, because cold res is the one resistance you kind of don't get. Sorcerer gets a lot of like fire and lightning, but you don't get cold. So that's kind of it for the idols. For the blessings, let's take a look of them over here. We got the endurance threshold, then we got the flat armor. You can also get % endurance here if you need it, and maybe it is better to get it here because that's going to make it a lot easier to get your rings, right? So you don't have to get % endurance there. So maybe when you go to if I go to the crab rings, I might swap the blessing this one here to the percent endurance, so it's going to be easier to get, you know, the stats I want, that kind of stuff. Rain of Dragons, all res. And then ending the storm, we got the Shred Lightning resistance. And then Black Sun crit multi. So that's kind of it for the character, the build, what we're doing right now. I'll have a planner in the description, and yeah, so I'll have to basically keep playing the build to see what route I want to take it, what kind of kind of gear we're going to be using in the end game, and how the skills are going to be allocated. But this is pretty much it. Oh yeah, we didn't look at the skills. So skills, mage, I've taken out the ward stuff, and now we're going into the crit multi and crit chance. Spellblade is the same, and sorcerer, just see. So I did get arcane insight, full 8 points just for the ward decay threshold per int. I'm not really sure how good this will be, but the int is definitely good for the spark charges. And then I am slowly leveling up mana bulwark. I'm not sure if I'll have full 10 points here at endgame, because I do want to get 8 points into what do you call it, sphere of protection, and I also do want to get, you know, at least maybe 5 points in Shattered Aegis for the extra damage reduction here. Well, I'm not really sure how important this will be, but we'll see in the end what I decide to do. But basically I'll have to slam on a T6 or T7 damage delta amount for health on the helmet. I think that I can actually get rid of points from the what do you call it, mana bulwark here. But that's pretty much it for the build, guys. Got a little bit long this time, kind of rambling, but we'll end the video here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.